do it. I'll be reading the candidate's profile, and they'll be making their way one by one to take the front seats. Okay? So as I read your profile, immediately I'm done, you stand up and take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, the best thing you can do for these people, whether you support them or not, clap for them as they come. It's not easy to stand out. Ladies and gentlemen, to start with, we have Katunji Ivan. Katunji Ivan is the candidate here. I love the vibe, I love the vibe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And secondly, we have Segawa Fahad. Segawa Fahad. That is Segawa Fahad for you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Eno Habat. Eno Habat. That is Eno Habat for you. As Eno Habat makes his way down here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Nsereko Mark with us here. And in a special way, don't think I'm biased, but in a special way, we have the only female lady in the race. That is Natasha. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mwesigwa Cyrus. That's Mwesigwa Cyrus for you. Thank you. So I'm going to give a brief background of each of the candidates, and immediately I'm done with that, I am going to call the moderators, and the moderators will take it on from there. Ladies and gentlemen, seated before you, we have Segawa Fahad. Segawa Fahad is a bachelor's, as a candidate, he is doing Bachelor's of International Business, that is BIB, year 1, and Fahad is politically affiliated to the Uganda Young Democrats, commonly known as UYD. This gentleman, he uses his slogan as the Fresher's voice. And he says his manifesto relies on the areas of registration, Wi-Fi installation, library registration, school ID, welfare. In regards to government allowances, he says he also wants to concentrate on supports. Fahad has been a leader before. In 2012 and in 2013, in the same way, Fahad has been a leader before. In 2012 to 2013, Fahad was the head prefect of Lubiri Nabagereka Primary School, and in 2016 to 2017, Fahad was assistant secretary council body at Pride College. In 2018 to 2019, he was the main custodian, president, patriotism, and vice chairman, Muslim community at St. Mark's College. And lastly, he is contesting for Chief Fresher, as I said earlier, under Uganda Young Democrats, Makerere University Business School chapter. Yes, and we have Eno Habas. Eno Habas is an OB of Namilyango College, and he was the prefect of general duties. He's also an OB of St. Mary's College, Lugazi, and he was the prom president. Prom president, is that right? That's right? Yes, he was the prom president. That is Eno Habas for you. A round of applause for Eno Habas. We have Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark is an OB of Mango SS, and he also attained his A-level education still at Mango SS, and is also a youth leader in the area he comes from, and that is Nsereko Habas. Because of time, I'm going to have to step through these things at a high speed. We have Noahereza Natasha. Noahereza Natasha is the only female in the race. She's also doing BHRM as a course, born in 1999, and served in various social clubs like SWAS, Interact, Debate, among others. And he's also an OG to St. Peter's Nadia SS. We have Mwesigwa Cyrus. Mwesigwa Cyrus is a student pursuing Bachelor's of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management. Started his primary education at Ebenezer Primary School, where he worked as the head prefect. Lastly, we have Katunji Ivan. Katunji is an OB of Mbarara High School. And while in Mbarara High School, Katunji served as the entertainment prefect. If I had the right, I would request you to show us the talent you managed to attain in that position. Not now. Not now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in a special way, the Speaker's Chambers, which is conducting this election, has partnered with Africa Youth Leadership Forum, that is AYLF. They are our official partners for this special debate. As I said in the beginning, this debate started last year. It was initiated last year. We had never had a Chief Fresher debate, but in a special way under the leadership of the Speaker by then, who was Don Patrick. They introduced what we call the Chief Fresher debate. And in this year in a special way, as it was last year, we had the moderator, and I'm going to invite the moderator, the lead moderator, to come and introduce the team she's going to be working with. And in a special way, this lady has been the former president for Debate Society Makerere University Business School. And for this special person, please, whatever I mention about her, just clap, whether you are jealous or you envy her or you want. Just help me and just clap for just, yeah? It's not easy to achieve all that. However, in a special way, this lady was a former presidential debate president. Does that make sense? Just clap as I say. Well, and she's also a former candidate in the recently concluded elections at Makerere University Business School, and she is also the current gender minister, Makerere University Business School, under the newly elected leadership of Okwang Robinson as the president, and she's also currently the candidate of Vice President Wunsa. She has won various accolades for debate, both international and national and local levels from Makerere University Business School. I just can't finish them all. She's just experienced. Ladies and gentlemen, in a special way, we could stand up and the DJ could blow this away as we invite our lead moderator, Julia Muhumuza, for us. Thank you. We can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. She's going to come and introduce her team, the one she's going to be working with. I'll be back here when she's done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's give Chibuka Region Leslie a round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. He's done so much of introduction. My name is Julia Muhumuza, and I'm so happy to be here. With me is a team from Makerere University Business School Debate Society, and one of them is Simon Luswata. He's the PRO of the Debate Society. And with also Nimrod, who also is the off-campus GRC and a representative from AYLF, African Youth Leadership Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy to be here. Welcome once again to the MUBS Chief Fresher Debate. It's going to be a hot seat, and I'd like to congratulate my friends for coming this far and make the best candidate win. Simon Luswata, please join me. Let's give him a few rules, just re-echoing a few rules. Let's not really make noise. I know some of you are already decided on which candidates you support, but in case you are...
Okay, the rules. Any language that's demeaning, vulgar, disrespectful is prohibited. Candidates will address each other with the title candidate. Interrupting another candidate during or after their speech is prohibited unless when permitted by the moderator. Maximum respect should be given to the moderators. Questions should be answered within the stipulated minutes. Signals will be given 15 seconds before the time elapses. Combining answers by means of further rebuttal is allowed, but ignoring the entire question to further rebut an answer is not allowed. Candidates are not allowed to pose questions to the moderator because it's not about you, it's not about us, it's about you. Candidates are allowed to consult their support teams in times of breaks, but these will immediately leave the stage 30 seconds before start of time.
Thank you. Nimrod here is going to double as our timekeeper, and from the speaker, he says he's going to find a candidate whose audience or whose supporters prove to go against the rules and regulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take us through the agenda of our debate. We're going to have questions that are going to be divided into 3 sections. The first one is going to be based on policy and feasibility, where we shall have the first section coming from us, the moderators, me and Simon. And part 3 of policy and feasibility, we're going to have a chance to listen to a few points in their manifesto, have follow-up questions, and then we shall give them a chance to ask any candidate of their choice a question. And then you're going to have section 2, value-based questions from Nimrod, the representative from African Youth Leadership Forum. And then you're going to have a chance for the audience to ask questions to different candidates. We're going to have closing remarks from the candidates. We're going to have a few speeches from the President, African Youth Leadership Forum, the Guild President, that if he is present, I'm the MUBS Debate Society President, and I was suggesting we could have a Chobani song before we leave. So ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to negotiate about dancing. You see, these people are going to go out and fest themselves rough. So just to initiate that kind of friendship, we're going to have all of them dance with us after, yes, after exchanging their opinions and what they have about the questions that we're going to raise. Without wasting time, Simon, could you please join me? First question. Before we have the questions, we're going to have opening remarks. I don't know if you have another microphone. We are going to have opening remarks from each of the candidates, 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each. I think we have to first specify.
Are we all fine? All right. I would prefer actually to address YLCJ since we're actually candidates, and I don't know whether we are fine with it. Are we fine with it? No? All right. All right. The entire fraternity of MUBS students present and the political aficionados. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to make a preamble of myself. Herbert Ewonu is my name. BCom student, aspiring to spearhead for your interest. At this point in time, we are actually marking the beginning of the end of our political journey that we sought to have started about 2 weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to campaign, but I would love to stress out one point, that we need leaders, not politicians. I want you to grant me the mantle to spearhead for your interest, for the betterment of our institution, and to uphold its values. Thank you very much.
For the time you have been at Makerere University Business School, it had to become clear that a great leader had to come. The equilibrium became so weak that even a blow off of the wind could break the path. Ladies and gentlemen, I salute you all in your different capacities and dignities in the name of peace, love, and harmony. My name is Cyrus, a first-year student at Makerere University Business School, pursuing a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship and small business management. Also running for the office of Chief Fresher. Ladies and gentlemen, time for change is now. As we all know, the challenges as first-year students we are facing, for example, the high tuition policies, the ineffective online classes. Ladies and gentlemen, they always say that every problem has a solution.
Time out. 12 seconds.
Every problem has a solution. Problems like food, problems like electricity have one solution, that is money. Problems like ineffective Zoom lectures, problems like high tuition have only one solution, that is Cyrus. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sereko Michael is my name. I'm offering Bachelor's of Procurement and Supply Chain Management. And in contrary to my fellow candidate, what he said, today marks the very beginning of our political journey, and we are not ending anywhere. Right now, there is something that not even someone with a first class in leadership and governance can train me. Something that is in me, that's something that I can't just explain by words. But not even a student who is offering leadership and governance can train me. This is the beginning of our political journey, and it is not going to end. We have become political materials to serve. Whether you lose or you fail, you have become a politician. That's the route we've chosen to take.
I salute you all, ladies and gentlemen. The gentleman standing before you is Segar Fahad, doing international business under UYD, that is Uganda Young Democrats. I'm an aspirant to the office of the Chief Fresher, and I do think I have all the capabilities into this office. If you give me the power, as my theme was, the Fresher's voice, I'll do very many things for you. I'll speed up all your processes. I look at education as it is the primary reason as to why we are here, and also look at the sports, since everyone has a department that they fall to. I also look at your welfare, that I'm here, Segar Fahad, to improve and make your stay in MUBS fantastic. Not like the other years, I want to make the better change in MUBS come 2021-2022. Thank you so much. I'm Segar Fahad, UYD candidate for the post of the Chief Fresher.
Student leaders, panelists, my fellow candidates, on behalf of that, good afternoon. I am Makerere Natasha, doing BHRM year 1 and contesting for Chief Fresher 2021-2022. When I began this race, my motto was and still is changing the norm. People ask me, you want to up and take away everything that is in MUBS? No, that's not what I want to do. I want to tackle those small little things that we have gotten used to but are not supposed to be the way of living. The challenges that we face every day but do nothing about. The grievances that we have but look at it as something normal. It has become a norm. Yeah? You know, this is bad, but people will be like, that's the way it is in MUBS, but I want to change that. A great leader I know once told me that... Sorry. I had so much more to say, but for me to change the norm for you, it's only your support and your votes that can give me that platform. And that's what I'm kindly requesting for. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Regardless, God above all. If it does not offend any one of us, I would urge you to first give the Almighty a very big hand clap. I take this very important chance to introduce myself with a very heartfelt gratitude. My name is Katun Ivan. I will. Thank you very much. I'm not here to promise heaven and earth. I'm just here to demystify political leadership. And time being a resource, I want to use it in this guy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. All the candidates have a piece of paper that you've chosen. Who has number 1? Cyrus. Candidate Cyrus. The first question will go to you. Yes. Oh, you will all answer the same question, but you're going to... Who has number 2? 3. 3, 4, 5, and by default. So, number 1 will answer first, and we shall go in that order. Okay. Candidate Cyrus, some of the students you seek to represent are new in this community and are quite non-certain with how business is conducted in this setting. Explain to them who a Chief Fresher is, his or her role, and what you think makes you the best candidate for that position. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, a Chief Fresher is a representative of all first-year students in the university, and their main role is to represent the grievances affecting first-year students at the university. Ladies and gentlemen, why am I suitable for the post of Chief Fresher? It is vividly clear that a lot is happening, and therefore we must address the challenges that we are facing as first-year students. For example, we all know that we are having a lot of challenges via the effective Zoom classes. I want to find out from you people, how are you finding the Zoom network? Is it okay? Yes. Is it fine? You have heard from the host Bob. All of them are affirming that we are all facing difficulties in handling the Zoom classes. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, the beauty of a mountain is seen at a near distance. The ugliness of a mountain, the beauty of a mountain is seen at a far distance. The ugliness of a mountain is seen at a near distance. Ladies and gentlemen, the success of a mountain is seen after climbing to the peak. Ladies and gentlemen, move with me to the peak. Mwesiwa Cyrus, I will be able to handle the challenges of effective Zoom lectures. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to also
interrupt you for a second, candidate. How are you going to handle that? The Zoom lectures.
The Zoom lectures.
How are you going to do it?
Through the office of the Guild President, I will cooperate with the Guild President, and we advocate for the abolition of online lectures in the council.
Cyrus, are you aware that the school operating in a staggered manner is a directive from the National Council of Higher Education?
I'm aware.
How then is it possible for you to work with the new president to cancel online classes?
You see, we can divide these classes into 3 sections. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clearly possible. Let's benchmark from other universities that are having on physical classes.
Okay, thank you. The next candidate, set of candidate himself. Am I right? Should I repeat the question or you have it? But I'll repeat it. Explain to them who a Chief Fresher is, his or her role, and what you think makes you the best candidate for that position.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. As to begin, as I will say, as a Chief Fresher, what is his role? A Chief Fresher, as I want to describe the meaning of a chief. We all know what a chief is. A chief is a leader and the overall leader in a community. So this is the overall leader of freshers in the community, MUBS community. And his role is not only to handle the grievances of freshers, but we also have new ideas to implement to the community. We have new ideas to bring to the system. We are not only going to look at the negative side. People are complaining about Zoom lectures. And in one of the points in my manifesto, I looked at inclusion. And one of the key components of inclusion, we have digital inclusion. We are not going to advocate for the complete ban of Zoom lectures, but we have those specific subjects or course units that really can't work out with Zoom lectures. We have accounting, business, mathematics. Some of the course units can't work out. we shall not advocate for complete ban of the Zoom lectures because we need digital inclusion. The world is driving us digitally and we have to cooperate to that. We need to upgrade ourselves. Let us not stay back. Yes.
With your time, yes, please. Your time is still right. If you take my done, fine. Candidate Khatun Ivan. Should I repeat? Explain to your electorate who a Chief Fresher is, his or her roles, and what you think makes you the best candidate.
Okay, thank you very much. A Chief Fresher is the immediate assigned personnel to represent all the Year 1 fraternity. I think what makes me the best candidate is that I'm going to lead from people's, students' opinions. Before I move close to this, I'm going to use the word irrelevance because it's the word that explains my point much better. I wish when you're done, when you're through the eruption, you should not go back and get to our comfort zone. Here comes my irrelevance. If you should see a convoy of an African minister leave around the president, by the president, I mean the great president. This side, I'm just an African minister representing a Chief Fresher. Get to the just village councillors. When they come to churches, they will even take the front seat. And even our leader declared will just come and invite them to share with us knowledge, even when we know that they are village food. So it would be inappropriate when you get into power and you do what is totally irrelevant to what people expect from you. That's why I use my slogan as, I win, you win. Then I have this point of stimulation of exclusiveness. You can't just come out of the break and you say that courseworks are just cancelled. When I've really took sleepless nights reading and you just say courseworks are cancelled, so I think we should get that gap with the admission, with the the administration. Inform us what you're going to do. And you're just saying that the courseworks are going to just come abruptly. That is a bazooka if we are in a war. So, I ask you to stop here because me what I expect.
Hypothetical situation, you were a Chief Fresher.
Thank you very much.
You were a Chief Fresher by then when the courseworks are cancelled. What are you going to do?
Immediately attacking the principal.
Could you please repeat your question?
This is my question. Explain your electoral roles and what makes you the best candidate for this position.
Well, colleagues, to define the role of a Chief Fresher and his office in specific, the Chief Fresher is the leader of all Year 1 leaders from the course leader level, GRC, And actually, he's the transition between the Guild Executive Council and the GRC Council. Literally, he is the person who represents all GRCs in the Guild Executive Council, because there are two councils. He is also a transition between the year one leaders and the entire administration. That is the role of the Chief Fresher. To come to the second part, what makes me feel I'm the most competent person? One of the things we need to know is a leader should have good communication skills. A leader should have a brain. A leader should have a design policy framework that will be effective. You will not wake up to be a leader without a strategy. And that is why leadership is all about movement. What do we see? I firmly believe that communication skills can enable us to go. Well, allow me to recognize the presence of our guild president. You're welcome. As I was saying, leaders have a responsibility to lobby for us. And lobbying for us means it is incumbent on them to have good communication skills. And that is the reason as to why I feel I can assuage any matter or we can get any issue solved. Otherwise, that is the role of a Chief Fresher, and my personality is I am competent, confident, and committed. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next candidate first.
Thank you so much. I do salute you all once again, and also recognize the presence of our dear new president, plus the vice president, my president. Now again, say my name. I'm Sega Fahad, coming from UYD, that is the Uganda Young Democrats, and I present to you my manifesto. In my manifesto, I look at education as the key reason as to why we are here. Number one, it has come to my notice most of the first, second years and third years don't have their school IDs. And how are you first years going to get your school ID? Yet your elders haven't yet. So, FAD is here to speed up that process and make it easier for you. Registration is going on now, but I'm quite sure that some courses and some members are going to miss registering. Because if you look at the fee structure, you only register when you have paid 60% and 100% of
Candidate, for a second. You mentioned something about IDs. What is the process of getting an ID?
Before you get the school ID, you have to register. And the reason as to why very many second years and third years haven't yet got their IDs, because the process is really going slow.
So you want to mean there are second years that are not registered? Are you sure what
they have registered, but they haven't received their IDs? Because this process,
in any event, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to do it?
Thank you. I'm going to act as a catalyst in this process. I'm going to Thank you so much. The other thing is about the online lectures. We very well know that online is directed from the higher education, the Ministry of Higher Education. So we cannot abolish Zoom and online lectures, but how can I simplify it for you? The Wi-Fi installation in the whole entire school. Number one, it has come to my knowledge that the process is ongoing, but it is slow. It is really slow. So I wish to act as the catalyst to this process. Let me draw to your attention that the administration is planning. It is planning on installing the Wi-Fi all over the school, but they are missing out the catalyst, someone to pressurize them, and I'm your voice. I'll look at the government students. My dear government students, I've come here for you because also it has come to my notice that you have.
Thank you so much. Your time is up.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Candidate Natasha. Should I repeat for you? Thank you.
The question was who a Chief Fresher is, what their roles are, and why I'm the best candidate. A Chief Fresher is basically a representative for all first years in a particular year on different executive leadership committees in the university, for example, the guild, the MUBS Parliament, and at the administration as well. The roles of a Chief Fresher are to basically connect the first years of the university to the leadership, in that if there were ideas that first years wanted to present to the leadership, they would have to go to the Chief Fresher. If there were problems that the first years wanted to present to the leadership, they would go through the Chief Fresher. Similarly, if the leadership wanted to communicate something to the first years, they would go through the Chief Fresher. Why am the best candidate for this? A good leader needs courage, a lot of courage, bravery, motivation, skills in speech, writing, people skills, connecting with various people and all that. And those are things I believe I possess. And I would ask for this platform, and I would prove to you that I actually do have these things. Why I'm the best for this as well is because I, as a fresher, have faced various problems as I came to this university, including the slow registration process, the weaknesses in the online lectures, the issues with mental health issues. Other people I might not have faced that personally, but other people, and many other things. And I believe that these are things I would bring to attention of the guild once I am presented with a platform to be your Chief Fresher. Thank you.
Welcome back from that. So far we have catalysts before us, and we also have leaders who are going to attack different people. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to join those who have welcomed the good president and vice president once again. Let's give them another round of applause for those who did it. So the next question, we're going to zero down the time to 2 minutes each. And the question is, post-pandemic has affected global business and studies for over a year now. So many things ranging from academics to the normal livelihood of a student has undergone drastic changes. What are some of the problems your leadership will face, and how best will you handle them to bring in office effective representation? We had Sarah as number one.
Thank you. Pardon your question.
Post-pandemic has affected normal business and studies for over a year now, and so many things ranging from academics to the normal livelihood of a student has undergone drastic changes. What are some of the problems your leadership will face, and how best will you handle them to effect effective representation?
Number one, ladies and gentlemen, we are all witnessing that we are having online classes. So most of us are not around campus. Therefore, implying that my fellow first year students will be on campus for a short time. Therefore, as Chief Fresher, I will use the database the administration has, because that database includes our contacts, our emails, our everything, to communicate to the first year students. That's problem number one. Ladies and gentlemen, we should all know that when you see a flower on the tree, just know someone has put it there. When you see a cat laughing at a fellow cat, just know there is a hole somewhere. When you see a challenge arising, just know a solution is also its role. Mwesi Cyrus is the solution to this challenge.
Thank you very much. To start with, you said some of the challenges we are going to face and how we are going to handle them. First thing is we aren't defined by our difficulties. We are defined by how we challenge those difficulties. People are complaining about Zoom lectures, and it is my humble request, please, let us stop complaining. Let us only complain to those course units that are being so disadvantaged on Zoom. And those are the mathematical courses, the practical courses, and one of those things that...
candidates, what should we complain? And then we leave the other. And why should we not complain about some?
Yes, and in my manifesto I talked about digital inclusion. The world is driving us digital, and we have to abide by that. Someone recently sent me a pic and was showing me that in 2009, when they wanted to capture a wedding, an aerial view of a wedding, a pilot had to lift a chopper and a cameraman had to sit there to record. But right now in 2021, it is only just a simple drone being driven by one person. Let us transform, let us free our minds and welcome something new in our heads. Is it right? And then the other thing, one of the solutions, MUBS and the administration has promised us the big blue button. I knew about that before I even joined MUBS, but right now it is even nowhere to be heard. Where did this promise go? We cannot push some issues very far, but please, we are requesting the council and administration, why should we seek ghost promises? These are some of the things that can handle Zoom lectures. People are crying for data, but they have promised us a big blue button, and we are seeing it nowhere. So please, we just request the administration. Thank you.
To our catalyst, Katsuzi Ivan. He's actually not a catalyst. He's the one going to attack authorities.
Okay, thank you very much. How I wish you could repeat the question.
The question was, post-pandemic has affected normal business and studies for over a year now. So many things ranging from academics to the normal life of a student has undergone drastic changes. What are some of the problems your leadership will face, and how best will you handle them to effective representation?
Thank you very much. How I wish history could repeat itself and you make my dreams come true of leading all the one fraternity to academic excellence. Passing through my manifesto, I used my name Ivan. Some of you are having these papers. I standing for information, this standing for a voice of the voiceless, A, academic excellence. And I think I've tackled with that. So, I'm promising to lead according to the general consensus. This time, I'm not saying no to the pandemic, but how can we curb that thing into our pockets? We can curb this through the following. We all know that we have educative association in MUBS, but according to my research, by 2019, those associations started perishing.
Why not this real-time result?
So, I would love to boost these associations and educative clinics. They are the fraternities that would help us figure out questions and possible layouts for us to attack those exams. I'm sorry for using the word attack so many times, but may God stay with you.
All right, to answer your question, you phrased it in a way that what are the problems leadership, actually, our leadership will face.
Your leadership will face.
My leadership
your
will face.
Post-pandemic leadership.
Post-pandemic. Okay, all right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, there has been a low level of payment for tuition by parents. That's why you find that the number of students who actually have registered is still low. That means that the amount of money that has been allocated by the administration to the students is still less in the accounts. And therefore, we are going to find a challenge of actually accessing those funds. Take, for example, the issue of inefficient online lectures. As a matter of fact, we cannot abrogate lectures, the online ones, because it's actually a law that has been stipulated by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with the government. But we can advocate for the administrators to allocate a given portion of our tuition for data. We are paying almost 2.3 million. Can't you have a situation whereby 80,000 is allocated for every student as far as data is concerned? It is very possible. If we work with the leaders in conjunction with the guild, all the JRs is possible, because you cannot actually have 1 week of online lectures. We are paying an alarming tuition fee. And then the other thing is, we can advocate for improvement of Wi-Fi and network around the institution, so that some students can come around and have their studies here, group discussions and all that. I think I've responded to your question. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's hear from Fahad and then Natasha.
Thank you so much. To start with, this is not a skeleton in the cupboard for me to say, my leadership is your leadership. Your problems are your problems are my problems. So, my leadership will have very many problems if you don't trust me to that office. But if you do, I don't wear the green tie for nothing. And if you know what green means, you can understand this. Green means go. Meaning, having with the president, having with the guild behind me, the UID executives, I can be the real catalyst in this. As I told you.
Follow up on that, do you mean that if any of the people in this panel win the election, they will not have the support of the youth?
They will, but I've interacted with the executives and other board of members, so I know what they are and what to do to reach out to the people's problems because of the Fresher's Voice. You have very many problems, the online government students allowance, delaying, registration, tuition, and very many others. If you trust me with power, green will go, and everyone will move. Thank you.
The question was basically what problems my leadership will face in the post-pandemic era and what solutions I have for them. My whole campaign is based on opening up a forum whereby the various leaders of the year ones, the GRCs and myself, and the year ones have a one-on-one connection with each other. We could have meetings or setups where people bring up their problems and things like that. However, due to the post-pandemic era, something like that might be a challenge because we are given restrictions of how many number of people are supposed to be in certain rooms and things like that. My solution for that is digitalization of basically everything. I know Zoom at the moment is still a bit expensive, but if we advocated for zero e-learning, this is where the university would provide a platform for us to go to Zoom for free. You would basically just have to register as a student and you would enter Zoom for free. Zero e-learning and different Wi-Fi spots in the school, I would still be able to access this forum, access my fellow first years, and for me to be able to listen to their problems, their ideas, and things like that. I think the other challenge that my leadership would face in the post-pandemic era is basically access to the leadership, the guild, and the other people, because in some big offices, maybe not the guild because it might still be under the bracket of youth, but in other big offices you find people in the age bracket that we consider old are not in their offices anymore. They're seated at their homes because their age is most vulnerable to diseases like COVID-19. Yes, and you would go to an office and not find such a person. And a person that has such a capacity, it's very hard for you to just contact them on the phone.
Last 15 seconds.
Sorry, to just contact them on the phone and say I have a problem. So I think a forum, an online forum should be created. I would advocate for creation of an online forum whereby we'd be able to access such people if they weren't available in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This question I'm going to ask still is going to go to all the candidates on the panel. And you only have 1 minute to answer it. It goes. One of the biggest challenges a year one ever has to go through in this university is the long, hectic process of registration. Crowded registration centers, limited knowledge about the exhaustive details required to successfully complete a formality. Is this something that bothers you, and what are your plans to make the process feasible? I'm going to repeat the question one more time. One of the biggest challenges a year one ever has to go through in this university is the hectic process of registration. Crowded registration centers, limited knowledge about the exhaustive details required to successfully complete this formality. Is this something that bothers you, and what are the plans you have to make this process feasible? Candidate Cyrus.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are in the whole month of Ramadan, and the whole Quran tells us to speak the truth. It bothers me a lot that one of the challenges in this institution is ineffective communication. For example, do you know that on Saturday, we were just informed on Saturday night that we are not having our coursework tests on Sunday through emails? Ladies and gentlemen, how many people here read their emails every day? But ladies and gentlemen, about registration. Yes, I'm coming to that. About registration, it is evidently clear that many of my fellow first year students are going through a lot of challenges. But as Cyrus Mwesigwa, even before I get into power, I'm so glad that we're in a building which shows one of the achievements that I've done as far as registration is concerned. Through my initiative as Cyrus Mwesigwa, I've been able to sensitize my fellow first year students about registration, and that is evident enough to let you know the work I've been doing.
Thank you very much. About manual registration, as you said, it's one of the most hectic processes due to the long queues and what. But I'm very glad that the team we are working with right now has drafted a timetable for the different faculties to come on different days to have their registration process done. It isn't so hectic as it used to be, as the stories we have had. We have had stories, people push themselves, people beat themselves up due to registration. I personally...
Sorry, I want you to be on record that you're saying it is non-effective. I want you to be on record. Are you saying that?
Yes, please. I personally, I have been there since Monday, and those who have registered have seen me physically there, helping out, drafting these timetables and resending them to their inboxes and different groups so that they come on their respective days to avoid congestion. Right now, no one is there because those who had to come on this day are done. Figures were so small, they were done in a very few time, in a very short period of time, and they are gone. And right now, I just want to confirm to you that we are going to keep doing our job until someone tells us to stop doing it.
Candidate Fahad,
Before we continue, when we say time up, you will have 10 seconds to continue with your speech and make the closing remark. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to make this last statement that a leader is a dealer. People just need someone to push them for the next day. And this process is not taking fellow first years. Go there by midday, 1 p.m., people are done. And the registration is done due to the timetable that has been drafted.
Okay. This time I've got a question. I will thank the current team because we have really been welcomed in the fraternity of MUBS as their ones. But then, when it comes to registration, I said there must be a change. Because the registration, when someone has already had all the qualifications, I don't see why just registering would be a very big problem this time. So I think we can have different sites for registering. Because that line, it's very hectic, too much sunshine. There was a girl almost fainted. I don't know whether some of you guys recognize that. And I think that's not healthy. What does it mean to live a digital life? So my point would be, we create a team. And I'm not a very selfish leader. I think when I'm through, even the candidates I've been standing with, I expect them to cooperate with me. We make a team and solo because I value everyone's opinion. I value their work. I value their minds. Thank you very much. You can take up.
To answer that question, usually when there is a problem, the answer is actually the reverse of the problem. What am I trying to say? What is causing the ineffective process of registration? First and foremost, we have the registrars present, people registering, but they're very complacent. Someone goes for lunch for 2 hours. We need administrators to speak to those people. Second of all, we need more workers or registrars to come and the right number of our students. If we have more people come in to help in the registration exercise, it is possible for the activity to go as smooth as possible. We need value for money at the end of the day. Because we are paid 2.3, we cannot only have about 6 people participating in the exercise. So that's the whole point about this registration exercise. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our contact is there. Thank you so much. The only reason as to why a baby can refuse to be breastfed by the mother is not because it is satisfied. Therefore, I do argue that the only reason as to why at the registration point we have few members, it is not that they are all done. Number one, they have various problems. Their tuition, to register, you have to have paid 60% of tuition, 100% of function fees, and also the national council. If you haven't paid that, there is no way you're going to go to the registration point. Therefore, I say I will advocate for the adjustments of the registration period for everyone to register. There is no way you're going to fall into your parents' pockets to put money out there to pay for your tuition if they don't have. Therefore, we can only adjust on the registration period. The other thing is time out. Thank you so much. Send our part, the Fresher's Voice, you are here.
One thing that the pandemic showed us was that you weren't ready for the digital era. You weren't ready for something like this. And I believe we should be more prepared for the future in case something else like this ever happens. People that faced influenza in the 19th didn't expect.
By looking at your manifesto, I know you are not Korean. Can you point out 2 things that you think are major from your manifesto? Use the mic. 2 things that you think are major in your manifesto.
Have the challenge of welfare, and then ineffective communication.
Okay, thank you. I am going to read a statement for you, and you tell me if you own it in your manifesto or not. If all these things don't get to work, I'm going to speak the language the administration of Makerere University Business School understands. If the group hesitant, I will go to the council and slap the council. I repeat this for clarity. I will go to the council and slap the council. First, who is the council?
The administration.
The administration. You're going to slap all of them.
Analyze the statement. I want to rephrase it once again. If all the challenges that we are facing as first-year students are not once and for all,
you're going to slap them.
Through the guilt, I'll match, go
but
to the
guilt is not here. You said you're going to slap the council. Or you've changed your mind.
That's enough for the wise to know. Slapping the council through diplomatic means, not violent means, as you want to portray it out.
You did include it here, or you're just changing your mind.
Sorry?
You did include it here, or you're just changing your mind about it.
Okay. That's enough.
This doesn't look like a figure of speech. I know English.
I want to repeat it for clarity.
You're going to slap the council.
Yes, through diplomatic means. Thank you.
Another statement still from your manifesto, Cyrus. I say this because our lives matter. We need to see value for money. We need to feel the worth of our money. Where is the value for money the most?
The value for money, we see the value for money through getting the services that we pay for. That's how we see the value.
And you told? And you told?
And you told? And I told? Yes, I'm told. Is it you who is unaware? Is it you who is unaware that I'm paying tuition for face-to-face lectures, that I'm having lectures online?
You came back knowing, you paid fees knowing you're going to study in a staggered manner. We are working in...
So why did the administration specify that we pay different tuition structure?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The catalyst, Fahad, you have something to do with reduction in the tuition for sportsmen and women. Do you mind clarifying to the audience with which capacity you can influence this and how feasible it is? Thank you.
Thank you. As it is already drawn into your mind, I'm the catalyst. Therefore, my work will be very easy and simple. Moving to the administration and the council, the guild, and everyone in charge, we can do this together. It is reduction in the tuition waivers of the sportsmen and women.
But you're quite making this, the whole campaign of yours about the UID. Just why?
It's not about UID, but I'm trying to clarify that if you give me your votes and you make me, I am the potential candidate for this. To show this, how? Reduction in tuition for the sportsmen and women, they have really done a great work for us.
Under what influence?
They have moved us to the next level under sports.
Question, are you looking at reduction of tuition for only first years or the entire students' fraternity?
I'm looking at reduction for the sportsmen and women for the first years and the entire students'
Are you
fraternity.
aware that the recent or the first years in sports have not really done anything as yet for the institution to qualify for this waiver?
Because they haven't been given the chance to.
And in this case, I just want to know under which capacity you will use to reduce tuition.
As I said, I'll act as the catalyst to speed up the process. In these first years, they are given chance. if they are given chance to appear in politics, we have good politicians.
Okay, we are not quite getting the motive why you asked the question, but thank you. Candidate Ivan, your manifesto is fictional. Some of the things can't work. Pick for me two that you think are the pillars of your manifesto.
Sorry?
Pick for me two that you think are the pillars of your manifesto.
It's like, I think this is in the form of a disguise, but I think, like, all my manifesto, the way it's stated, there are major factors, but just like you stated it, I'm just going to pick two. Now, talking about academic excellence, and it's the sole purpose and the unifying factor.
Okay, well, let us make it short for you. You said in the academic excellence, you're going to end bureaucracy. Do you know another thing you're talking about?
Thank you very much. Now, I'll first break bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a chain from the head to the bottom.
You don't want the university to have structure.
No. That bureaucracy delays services. So we need someone who will act like an instrument, a weapon, who will definitely go there and get the information available to the student.
And we have structures.
We are having
no one person is going out of the rules and the
but then, I don't know whether you're informed that some of the structures can be wrong.
So you want to say that structures are wrong?
I just say some.
Ivan, could you give us examples of the wrong structures that affect the first year?
Like I said, the bureaucracy, it's a chain, a long chain.
Which structures in this case attached to bureaucracy?
From the first chain, we have the class coordinators. From the class coordinators, we have the GRCs. From the GRCs, you just say,
what is wrong with having course leaders, DRCs, Chief Fresher? What is wrong with it? What should we replace it with?
okay, thank you very much. Here the reason is, they are in press, but they tend to delay the process of service.
But this is how things are.
I'm going to stimulate all of this.
And you're going to tell me how problem.
Associations. Do you act a house please audience? Come to order please. We need to find out from you, because I believe first years are people who are not aware of the associations we have. And in this case, do you know how many academic associations we have and how willing are you to work with them?
Now, thank you very much. I would be knowing if they were active. They are not active. So the sole reason is about boosting those academic associations, because they are in press but dormant. Have I answered your question?
You haven't, but let's proceed.
Okay, candidate, instead of Michael, Mark, you are affiliated to the National Platform, right? Your order.
I'm going to chase you out early. Get out. Get out.
But that lost grip from reality. Just lost grip. You're detached from reality. Digital inclusion. You know just how our country is, like serious. In a circumstance that a student doesn't have a phone, digital inclusion, you're not even looking at other measures to help them. You said, let us go for this. There's nothing wrong with it. because of digital inclusion. Where do you live? Yeah, you can.
I did say, okay, I request you quote me well. I didn't say let's go for this, it has no problem. But for the fact that someone can afford to pay tuition fees of Makerere University Business School, I believe their parent has the ability to sacrifice because
So already students that don't have their parents
just a
have that
minute,
fees.
please. Just a minute, please. So by the time their parent has sacrificed millions to bring them to this great institution, they as well have the ability at least to get them a minor phone. My phone is so cheap, I'm holding a
And they can't have the capacity.
Yes, please.
What if they don't have the capacity to buy the phone? They shouldn't be here.
Then I don't think they would be in MUBS. Because
and government students
government students have the greatest ability of even getting these devices. They are still getting their allowances.
Are you aware that Makerere University Business School is a government institution?
Yes, please.
Does that re-echo something to you in terms of who has access to it and who does not have access to it?
Yes, I believe everyone who has passed their advanced level exams has access to MUBS.
What do you know by a public institution in this case?
There is what we call cost sharing. That's one of the greatest characteristics of a public.
So you agree that there are people within us who cannot meet certain living standards, right?
If I look at the fee structure of MUBS, I don't believe that.
But we have the government students as well.
And government students are even more advantaged against the other because they are earning 600,000.
Government students also include a section of people who are entirely here because they have assistance from the government to be here. What is?
Yes, please. Come again.
I was just bringing it to his notice that I'm actually a government student, and they are students who are here because entirely they are survival in this school, and them being in position to attend class is based on government. So as you advocate for certain things, put into consideration that you have the marginalized and those that can attend or attain the standards of living you're putting into place.
Yes, just a minute, madam. And okay, I'm also a government student personally as well. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have got the opportunity to be in this great institution. And for that fact, just today, just before coming here, I submitted my leaving out application to the Dean's office. And within not more than 3 or 4 weeks, I'm expecting over 660,000. A reasonable or viable mobile device costs around 400,000.
financial inclusion.
Yes, please.
We are talking about a post that doesn't have a budget, and you're talking about financial inclusion. Even the post you're running for.
In this case, I wasn't meaning about budgeting for students. What I meant by financial inclusion is that at least each and every student must have the basic skills to manage their personal finances. Hope you get me right.
What is wrong with their personal finances?
No, I'm not saying something is wrong, but at least each first year must have the ability to manage and run their finances.
How are you bringing this, or how are you going to achieve it?
I was talking to the president of MUBS some weeks back, and he told me that previously they used to bring people from the procurement practitioners associations to register students to become procurement practitioners even before they get their actual transcripts. I believe this is a very great opportunity for me to invite people from different financial institutions, help out these students, help them with best finance.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Habat. In your manifesto, you're talking about postal access. Could you mind elaborating more on that?
As a matter of fact, this week I'm actually going to have physical lectures. That means that next week we're getting back to online. In a situation where we need to discuss, the whole essence of online lectures is to minimize congestion in campus. That means that students residing within the hostel places need to have opportunity to discuss But in a situation where hostels are refusing security like your former school ID and all valuable documents, they're even refusing. Actually, a lot of things, some even try to brag, it's not part of it, but some try to
To
brag.
catch your brief, you're trying to push for hostels allowing in visitors.
Exactly.
So,
Reason why?
in your capacity as a Chief Fresher, if elected, how are you going to effect this? And do you know the respective authorities you'll have to work with to have this in place?
First and foremost, I firmly believe that cooperation is what brings actually success at the end of the day. We need actually, we have a off-campus curacy, that is his responsibility, that person, to actually approach the Dean of Students and other responsible authorities to have some of these issues solved. We need to discuss from hostels. That's why, if actually you are ideal, I'm at Valley Courts, and you can access it. Yes.
You know that these hostel owners are private entities.
Very true. But then this is something small to be actually rectified.
Do you think there's no effort that has been made according to that?
There is effort, but it's very possible if actually we're united. Why I say so is, if someone has collateral security, why would you refuse him to access the hostel? For multiple ID, they may decide to put other documents, let's say your provisional admission letter. That will still work as long as students access hostels to discuss.
Okay.
I'm still with you, Habat. You're talking about coursework one objective. I'm thinking it's objective questions. Could you please throw more light on that?
All right. There has been news actually moving around, and I think it's true that when actually coursework one is all about objectives, which means if you circle something.
Before you continue, news that has been moving, you're basing your argument on rumors.
Exactly, but they are facts. Based on evidence.
Yes, there are facts. How do you know that?
Facts are news. Because something new is something actually that has been.
Okay, continue.
Alright. What I was saying is this. In our coursework one, it has been basically objectives. That means that some lecturers actually talked about this. If someone circles an answer and he feels like changing his mind and crosses it, irrespective of the state of your answer, you will actually be crossed. Now the question is, where do these lecturers be when actually students are having exams? Literally, they supervise us. Then why should you cross someone because actually he changed his mind? That is why we need leaders who will actually ask for leniency. And also, if there is no evidence of cheating, a lecturer has no reason to cross your answer. And some of these students actually are still unaware of this issue. That is why we need leaders who will lobby for our interests and
thank you so much, Herbert. Thank you so much. As Herbert is still deliberating, if you have any questions, kindly get a piece of paper and write it down. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to be collecting questions from the audience. Thank you. A follow-up on that, Herbert, because it looks so much to be an education-related issue. How are you really going to represent? How many students are in first year?
About 14,000.
Okay. MUBS itself has a percentage, has students close to 24,000. Are you trying to insinuate more than half of them?
Actually, we are many. That's why you see there's some.
Okay, let's go with your unrealistic figure of 14,000 students. How are you going to be in position to tackle all these education-related issues? Because coursework is just a highlight or a hint of what exactly is affecting first years. How are you going to work in line with that and affect what you're trying to bring on board?
First and foremost, to let you know I'm not a numerator, to know actually the actual number of students. So when we deal with estimates, it is my own objective. Going to your question, as a matter of fact, we need, like I said, it is all about strategy. If you realize there is a problem in the faculty, who is responsible of it? Which strategy are we going to use? How are we going to accost the administrators? which administrator are we going to accost? That is all.
So don't you think it's easier for you to work with specific people or specific people in different offices to make your work easier, or you are looking at a one-man's fight?
Well, first and foremost, a good leader does not lean on others for his fame or his power. You are supposed to be.
So this is about you as a leader and nobody else.
It is incumbent on me to spearhead for all freshers by doing my best.
That's quite simplistic, don't you think? That's quite simplistic, don't you think?
It's not simplistic, but I'm being realistic.
It's not simplistic, but myopic.
It's not being myopic.
Thank you. Candidate Natasha. I'm pleasantly surprised you're here. I don't know how you got nominated. I'm pleasantly surprised you're here. When did you get nominated?
I get nominated on Friday.
On Friday. Okay. In the presence of the Minister of Health, actually a personal friend, Nicholas, you said that there is no medicine in the health center. Bettering the physical health of students by advocating for provision of enough medicine at the health center.
I didn't say there is no, I said it's not enough.
It's not enough. How did you know?
Because you have people that go to the medical center for certain ailments at a time, and they will tell you, oh, you have this problem, but we don't have that drug, we're bringing it on Friday.
Okay. The advocating for bettering of provision, how are you going to do it?
I would go through the guild or the Minister of Health to be able to go to the health sector in the university and forward that problem to them.
So you mean they don't know?
Maybe we could keep pushing.
I want you to be on record. The Minister of Health doesn't know.
I'm not saying they
not
don't.
Working.
I'm not saying they don't. But maybe we could keep pushing until something is done about it. Pardon?
And when it fails?
There's no failing.
There's no failing. Creating awareness about the contraction of UTIs and provide solution on how to alleviate the problem. Tell us more about this. How bad is the problem of UTI?
How bad is it? Statistically, every day.
Statistically from which source?
Research around university.
You've done a research?
Yes.
You've done a research?
Yes, I have.
Continue.
Around 15,000 every day contract urinary tract infections. And
what if I call that a very unrealistic figure?
It's not unrealistic. And if you went further, you would find that there are even more than 15. Just that UTIs are stereotyped. I know some people get certain diseases and are afraid to go and talk about them, but if you did more deeper research, you would find that there are even more than 15,000 per day that get UTIs.
So these girls just don't know anything about the UTI?
Not that they don't know. They might be afraid to come out about it, and that is why when I am Chief Fresher, I will create a forum for people to be able to come and approach and have one-on-one conversations with me.
Effective representation of year one, that is the creation of a forum where issues can be aired. Let me take you through something.
Pardon? Sorry.
And this is a statement from human person. Effective representation of year one, that is the creation of a forum where their issues can be aired. So the problem is, you guys are not represented with a DRC, course leaders, and a Chief Fresher. So what we do not have is these positions.
You're misquoting my words. I did not say we were not represented. I said I, as Natasha, want to create a forum. Yes? If I went through, maybe it would be Natasha initiated this forum or Natasha's planned forum, and people would come to me. They might not.
You would rather use the initiative rather than the available structures.
Not the available structures. This forum is not. It's not like I have the resources to build up a structure. No, I mean for one-on-one conversations with my fellow freshers and with the GRC.
You know, the problem is not knowing the problems. We know them.
Yes.
You stated some of them.
Yes.
The problem is how are we going to deal with them? You're telling us one-on-one conversations and then do what?
You were asking me about the forum, you weren't asking me about solutions. But if you want solutions, I could also give those to you.
I'm listening.
For which problems exactly? Or for anything that I've stated in my manifesto?
For anything. Start with the youth.
Beginning with the contraction of the UTIs, I would put up voluntary associations that will help in the cleaning, because these people say they clean 3 times a day, and if they do that, maybe they are tired, we couldn't add them to 5. So if there was a voluntary group that were willing to come and clean at least once and increase the times the number of toilets are cleaned from 3 to 4, that would create some sort of impact. Yes, please?
Is that even realistic?
It is.
Voluntary groups.
If you've been through if you know how these clubs were working in school, for example, Interact or Jaja Association Club, I don't know if you know that one, it might have been in specific schools. People would be told, we are contributing for this, it's just for helping someone, and people would actually come out and give money, yes, and do that. And even for clubs like Interact, they would be like, this week we are washing cars to save someone who has cancer. Some of you have been in these groups before, and I'm sure you're aware of them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, quick reminder.
Because they have deliberated in what they believe in. What are some of the things that you think you would implement from your fellow contenders if you are given a chance as a Chief Fresher? 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I really noted down about two issues. And one has been about the effective communication. That is something I was implementing from my opponents.
Okay, you are done? Thank you. Candidate Seriko. There is a statement that goes, justice delayed is justice denied. What do you think of this statement?
Personally, about that statement, I believe without truth, there is no trust. How do you expect me to believe in you if you are not delivering what you promised, what you personally promised? And that is what you're saying about justice delayed is justice denied. The administration promised us the big blue button, but we have not seen it. It's going to years right now. It's coming to years. That's something I believe we have really been very dishonored and we have been lied to.
So if justice is delayed, it means it has been denied?
Yes, please, I believe.
What if it actually comes to pass?
Then that it comes to pass because of some pressure that has been incurred. And without this pressure, we don't believe it will happen. Let us not deliver because we have been pressured. Let us deliver because we believe something has to be done.
Okay. Your question goes, with all honesty, with which percentage do you think they will win this race?
Can you come again?
With all honesty, with which percentage do you think you are going to win with this race?
Thank you very much.
Let's take calm.
This would be debatable, and according to the groundwork, the strategies, I think I would go with 95%. But then, after all, God above all.
Okay, you think you're going to win with 95%?
Yes.
So it means there's some 5% that's not going to vote for you. What do you think they're not going to vote for you?
In leadership, we expect sides. There is nothing that has ever been one-sided. So, that 5% is another side.
So what do you think? Or what are some of your weaknesses?
One of my weaknesses would be something I've not looked into myself. So I think
That's a question in disguise. I myself can't lay out
So you
my...
think you are very perfect, you don't have a weakness?
I'm not perfect, but that question would be to the criticizers. They would be the ones
You
who
see,
judge.
in leadership, you start with honest. Shows that you're not honest to yourself. Let's go on. Thank you.
The best answer to this question would be, I'm going to do my best with love and passion, devotion. Then, criticizers will just come out and say, this is your weakness.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Herbert. Your question is, politics and leadership have been used interchangeably. Are they, what do you think? Politics and leadership have been used together. Are they the same? What do you think?
Well, as a matter of fact, politics is part of the exercise to determine leadership. But we can also have a chance to know who patriotic leaders are and who politicians are on basis of how
So
they
in simple terms, what is leadership?
Leadership is the ability for someone with the mandate of people to serve a given society.
Who is a leader?
A group of people. A leader is a person who spearheads for the interest of the rest.
Okay, by the way, you're talking to these people, not to me.
All right.
So, next candidate, please face the audience. Candidate Mark. Oh, sorry. I'll go to candidate Natasha. What are your 3 core values that you think we need to know, that you believe in?
Respect, loyalty, teamwork.
Come again?
Respect, loyalty, and teamwork.
And teamwork. Okay? So, imagine you're talking about respect. Imagine you go to an office of the dean, and she doesn't work on you. All the issues are presented to her, and she just throw you out. What are you going to do about that? How do you go about that?
I would find someone that's closer to her or someone that has better access to her to be my channel to her.
Okay. Let me go to candidate Fahad. Your question is, if you have nothing to die for, you certainly have no reason to live. That's a scholar in leadership. What can you die for?
I can die for my people.
What do you mean? Elaborate more.
Standing in here as a contestant for the Chief Fresher, so the freshers are my people. I'm here for you.
So you mean if the issues have not been worked upon, you can even take your life for them? Yes.
Yes, it can, because it is my role.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so to the 5 gentlemen on the panel, I have a question. Before we move to the audience, we are going to give a chance to you to ask and also read out some of the questions you've sent. Leaders in this school have answered questions about women issues and surely will in many years to come. Are you convinced that females in this institution have shunned elective positions and are only open to political appointments in which they are not given key position to assert their voices and space? I mean, women are taking a back seat. What do you make of this? To all the gentlemen in the panel.
Okay, I request to go first. About that statement, I totally disagree with it. I'm very, very honored and humbled that I'm seated on the same panel. It was so disappointing when we went...
To interrupt, you can say to you that it's a ratio of 1 to 5, so clearly there is no effective representation, but you can go on.
Yes, please. Leadership is something that comes from within. Someone can have the zeal, but they would not wish to come for it. But we are so humbled that one lady came out
Are you aware that we have majority of the population of MUBS as females? And do you still imply that out of the majority, we have very few leaders from them, or is actually a different issue?
Yes, please. And there are some courses who have majority as boys, but they have unopposed girls as DRCs in this race.
Let's hear from other gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to repeat this question for the last time to all candidates. Please be attentive. Leaders in this school have answered questions about women issues, and surely will in many years to come. Are you convinced that females in this institution have shunned elective positions and are only open to appointments in which they are not given key positions to assert their voices and space? I mean, women are taking a back seat. What do you make of this, and what plan do you have to bring them on board?
Thank you. Number one, I oppose that. I don't believe in it. The reason as to why I don't believe in it, behind a successful man, there is a lady. And behind me standing here as the contestant of Chief Fresher, I have my personal assistant as a lady. And she can raise her hand, wave to you all.
I think that is what I meant by, I think that's what I meant by relating to being in the back. Because on the look of things, we are always the personal assistants to you gentlemen. What do you make of this, and how are you going to effect more girls to take up leadership positions in an institution where we are majority girls? That is my question.
If I had left on my cabinet boys, then I would have said, I really look.
Do you intend to imply a Chief Fresher has a cabinet?
Pardon?
Let's have the next gentleman answer the question.
I personally disagree with the above statement. The Bible says they are all equal. And it is evident that women have participated in politics at Makerere University Business School. You personally being an example. Ladies and gentlemen, we should all know that the most number of people contesting for GRC positions are ladies. And therefore,
to intervene, the number of GRCs contesting, increasing, for us to see females coming up, it's entirely not you. So I just want to hear what role are you going to play to keep this, to set a precedence of us having females continuously participating in taking up spaces. That is my question.
Yes. My female friends need motivation, need to be talked to, need sensitization about the benefits of participating in politics.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
As Chief Fresher, every problem, as I already said, needs a solution. Such a problem has only one solution, and that is Makerere Cyrus, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, let's have let's listen for Robert.
Well, as a matter of fact, I will agree to what you're saying, that we have very many female colleagues by taking up less influential positions, but then this is all rising from a stereotype among his female colleagues. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, yeah, we have a female contestant in the race. But she was like, there's a problem with girls, they don't want to vote for fellow girls. Yes. So, at the end of the day, whose problem is it?
I'm okay, we have to with a stereotype, but what role as a Chief Fresher are you going to play? Because we realize as next year we have new freshers coming on board, we need a platform to break this change, break stereotypes. So what role will you play to break some of these stereotypes?
Alright, like I told you, Herbert Ewonu's candidature is all about policy implementation and effective leadership. To answer your question, we just need a platform of chicks. Sorry, I said that. Alright, female colleagues who are GRCs to influence the rest to participate in all these electoral processes. And that is the only answer to that.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Let's hear Ivan.
Thank you very much. We do believe that we are all equal. And from that state, I will agree that here at MUBS we are more dominated by women, but then they are still in their shells. But then we can create a very strong women empowerment movement here at MUBS.
Do you imply that we are not empowered?
We are empowered, but we don't have enough motivation. So I think.
How are you going to motivate us enough to take up space?
Thank you very much. I expected such a very bright question. We can make, like in my manifesto, there is a word, utility. That stands for N. Here at MUBS, how can we make MUBS our home? Because most of the girls, after, let's assume like after lectures or after discussions, they just bag their books and bags and go to the hostels. Meaning, they are not feeling themselves here at MUBS.
How are you going to make us feel?
I'm coming to your point. I'm coming to your point. Maybe I must give back. We can make clubs. We get to know each other. Then women are going to come up and unleash those abilities they have. And I am going to assure you that I'm going to be a strong boss that will spearhead that empowerment among women.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, that was the gender minister speaking, not Julia. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a question to the only lady in the rest.
Candidates Natasha. To the candidates we're seated with, this thing we talk about how much they are already doing to be inclusive and action-oriented on women's issues. Or do they acknowledge the lack of representation of women's voices and talk about the representation of women in various key positions? Yes.
I kindly request you to be a bit louder as well.
To the candidates you are seated with convincingly talk about how much they are doing to be inclusive and action-oriented on women's issues? Or do they acknowledge the lack of representation of women's voices and talk about the representation of women in various key leadership positions? Well,
Honestly speaking, I've not interacted with most of the candidates. You said, do they talk about the issues? I have interacted with candidate Cyrus, and in our interactions, I think he does talk about the issues, but I don't think he represents them well, like you asked.
who represents them well? You.
I would like to represent them if I'm given the opportunity to be Chief Fresher.
So they should vote you because you are the lady who can represent them.
No, they should vote me because I will fight for their strive to put women empowerment in leadership.
Provided there's somebody who says just those things you want to hear as a lady, you vote for them. Provided there is somebody who just says the things you want to hear as a lady, the representation and all that, would you go for that person?
No, I wouldn't want someone who just says things I want to hear. I would want someone who says things that they mean and who is going to do the things that they say.
So Natasha, should we vote for you because you're the only female in the rest, we as girls, or there is something about you that these gentlemen cannot really stand up for?
I believe I represent very different things. Women being inclusive of them, but also being amongst, as another fresher, being a person who has faced the problems that other freshers are facing.
But you see, all these candidates are also facing issues that every other fresher faces. So what distinguishes you or differentiates you from the rest?
Then when we asked the question of why I think I'm the best candidate, I talked about my skills in speech, leadership, people skills, and I think we're here to be to the people and for them to decide who is the best candidate.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have one question from us, and then we'll bring it back to you, the audience. There is a question that we were asked when I was seated on this panel, and I would like to ask these people the same question. If you never participated in this race, who would you vote, and why? I think disclaimer, we do not need answers like, I will not vote for no one. You're sick. I mean, we just want to know who you would vote honestly and why. And I don't know who's going first. Jericho.
I would vote, I don't want to pronounce his name wrongly, Ewoni. Why the people clapping? I want you to get me right. I don't think he's a better candidate than me, but I think he has aired out. His intellect has been impressive to me.
Thank you. If I was a Kamba, I would vote for a candidate that has the ability to present and emphasize our needs.
Who?
The capable candidate.
Can you please give us a name?
You need the name? You can all judge from their manifesto and presentation who's really capable. Among my colleagues, they all have good points. Therefore,
are you trying to mean you would make your vote invalid?
no.
So who would you vote?
The capable that has really shown what he really has to my people.
I think let's not waste time, but you are really not on the same page with us. And I request the other candidates to...
Thank you very much. Personally, if I were to vote, and I hadn't taken part in this race, I would vote for Cyrus. To be frank with you, I think I've interacted with him the most. I even knew him before I decided to join the race, and he even gave me the zeal too. So I believe I would vote him if I were not to take part in this race.
Cyrus, you're inspired.
I'm so humbled that someone has inspired sitting on the same panel with me. Round of applause for me.
So who would you vote, Cyrus?
Honestly speaking, I'll vote for my brother, man.
All right. We are actually at our advanced level of learning, and that means that we should vote rationally, not based on biological attachment, friendship, political leaning, or any sort of that kind. So, I would vote for ideas, passion, and commitment. And that, I would stand with Cyrus for one reason.
Thank you very much. I would vote only one candidate because of just only one reason. Only one, not exceeding that reason. I would vote candidate Natasha for just coming out as a lady and stand to the election.
So, all the candidates, they are going to be playing for you a song, and then you will mention the artist and the name of the song. How about the song, DJ? The one that answer is first Cyrus. Yes, Cyrus. DJ, are you ready? You want to?
The artist is called Great Daddy. The title of the song is the artist vocal. He rebranded to Great Daddy and also mentions it at the start of the song.
Okay, two. Candidate is available. DJ.
Excuse me. If it was two-dimensional dancing the song and just what do you prefer? Dance. You go with the majority right there. Critical search about that, I'm sorry.
We're going to Herbert. The next song. That song is coming.
End of the song.
No, that song is coming.
Mr. DJ, you could end the song. Alright. The title of the song is called Lighter by Shensia and Tara Shazza.
Mazima.
Repeat this one. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The title is Jerusalem. I'm not sure of the artist. And I have no salam alaikum to you.
So welcome back. So the session we're going into, I'm going to read 6 questions from the audience. Specifically what you've already submitted in questions. So if you submit questions, you just raise your hand. And I'm going to read specific.
God provides food for the birds, but not in their nests. You're advocating for only ladies. That is gender equality. What do you have for gender equity? Are you leaving us men out?
I think you misquoted.
No, it's okay. I will request all the candidates to write down the question so that we keep time.
Good evening. Good evening, comrades. My name is Ashraf Karas, procurement year 2. My question is, our honorable candidates, what are your ingenuity and intuitions about the sector Buraha collection project? The question is, what are your ingenuity and intuitions about sector Buraha collection methods?
That was a question to all candidates. Please write down the questions. You're going to be given 2 minutes to respond after we have raised them.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm also Vinashe from Koinji, and my simple question goes to all the candidates. Simply give us an inspiration of your core values, just in 1 sentence.
An inspiration of your core values. Let me come back to you.
My name is Naiba Barak. My question to you is, you have some people who are campaigning for you this side, and these are the people who brought like problems inside here. How are you trying to work on that side? You are not going to bring problems for pressure. You find out that we are becoming a problem to the institution. Because these people who you are working with, these are the same people who are who want to fight behind here. And I want you to tell us if you know them or if you don't know them.
Who is Katunji? So it so happens that the people who created chaos were on those caps, so that question goes to you both. How will you be in position to manage your following or support system so that it does not keep on creating chaos?
Mine is not a question, and I was trying to request this gentleman. Don't make people's life difficult.
you can ask a question which is very, very simple for everyone to understand. We are not here to make their lives difficult, but we are here to make their lives. Another thing I think among people who created videos here, they were from Natasha's side. So Natasha, how will you be able to control and create this in the environment of MUBS?
And eliminate the specific people that were the problem. If any of you sees those specific people in my company, you will know that I lied to you. Someone asked why they shouldn't vote us. I will never give you a reason why you shouldn't vote me. I'm here to convince you to vote me. Even if I had weaknesses, I would never tell them to you because I want you to know that I am able to do this job. Someone else said we've not talked about entertainment. Most of the things that are in the entertainment industry or sector regard people being in crowded places, most not all.
And learn how leaders should really be. Another question was, why shouldn't you vote me? You shouldn't vote me if you never knew what I was to present to you or I would work for you. But now that you know, it is a man, let me say, you have a right to vote me. You have a right to push me out there. Thank you. Another one talked about entertainment. In my manifesto, I have a point talking about sports. Sports is under entertainment. I can really elaborate more about that, and I wish to approach you personally. I will discuss with you. The other question was about, I described my leadership. It was well read in my background. In 2012 to 2013, I was the head boy.
I think in French, words that are usually used by honorable people. And then someone asked about core values and inspiration. My two core values are integrity and respect of persons. That's what I stand on as a person. Then my inspiration, personally, I look at my very own principle. I am NUP, I am people power. I look at my very own principle. Then someone asked, why should I vote you? One word I have.